Okay, we're doing something better than ever. We're using microphones on the Weege Show. I tried this at Hangtown, it failed. This is gonna work. Introduce yourself as the first ever microphone guy.
I'm the first ever microphone guy, Parker Ross.
Yes.
I ride for the Bar X Yamaha Toyota Redlands.
Yeah. Toyota Redlands.
Don't forget Toyota Redlands, yeah.
Now, Parker, look, you're making a name for yourself.
Yeah.
You're a rookie, right? I don't even know if people realize that, but it's trending the right direction here the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's been good. Just kind of been dialing in the bike a little bit. It took me a little bit. I know I had some good finishes at Paul and Hangtown, but kind of dialing in the bike a little bit, still getting comfortable with it. We actually we had some problems, and 2 rounds in a row we had some problems, which is really frustrating for me and the team, because we've both been putting in a lot of work, so that was a little bit frustrating. But yeah, I mean, we actually did 2 weeks of no back brake motos, and I feel like I really got to like learn the bike and like kind of flow with it.
Okay.
Instead of like, I feel like I developed like a little bit of like an overriding and kind of just like forcing the bike a little bit instead of working with it. So really got in tune with the bike, and I feel like that showed at Southwick and here, just really flowing with it a little bit better, which is nice. And yeah, it's been good. I feel like I'm building confidence, and I don't know if I'm really riding at my 100% in the motos yet. I feel like I'm riding a little bit reserved in a way. Yeah, just not having the confidence to do my full 100% in the motos. And yeah, I think that's going to come just with being up there and riding with those guys. I feel like a little bit reserved in the motos, so I think I have a little bit more speed, I feel.
Yeah, but you're top 10ing.
Yeah.
So that's got to be exciting. You're like, oh, where could I go?
Yeah, like even my trainer's like, dude, like, I know you're better than this, and even in the same, I feel like I'm better than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, dude, you're doing so well. Like, even like the top 10 I got the P8 overall, and I was like, yeah, it was good, but like in my head, I'm like, I can be better. Like it's like a little bit of like it feels good, but at the same time, like, man, I could be doing better. So it's like it's a cool feeling to be like knowing I have more in the tank. I feel like it would feel different. It was like, man, that was the best I've ever ridden in my life. That was the best I've ever done. But knowing I have like a little bit more, I feel like it like makes me a little bit more hungry. Like I got home, watched the race on Sunday, and then I was like instantly like, oh, what can I do better? Like instantly got like fired up. I went in the sauna, went in the ice bath, like did all that stuff. Like I was just fired up after watching the race. So
now one other question for you. You were on SLR Honda for a while.
Yep.
Your girlfriend's on the team.
Yep.
You did not get booted to have room for her. Was there room for both of you on the same team, or was there like we only got room for one of you and you lost?
Yeah, that's what happened. Yep, that was it.
That was it.
Yep.
Not enough room.
Yeah.
Can you still communicate even though you're not teammates anymore? No inside trading, inside secrets, bike setups you can't talk about?
We had to sign an NDA, so yeah, I actually can't speak on it.
Yeah, strain in the relationship. All right, that's Parker Ross. Was at Loretta's last year. Here, I'll take the mic, and look at you now. Okay, Dilan Schwartz, I'll have you stand here. They like it when we have the nice background. Good job, Parker. All right, look, man, last couple years, even when you were hurt, late in the motos, dude, you're always strong. Now, we're starting to see some qualifying sizzle. We almost saw good starts.
Yeah.
These pieces are coming together, bro. Yeah,
that's been the goal for a while.
Yes.
I think we're kind of starting to figure it out a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, got a good start first moto. Unfortunately, had a rock go in the counter sprocket in the chain and locked it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you fall because of that, or is that separate?
Yeah, I went in and then the bike just locked up and I fell over.
That's why you fell.
Yeah.
So you were going to have a heck of a moto.
Yeah. Well, and then I was like, I fell over and I was like, there's no way I just tipped over. Like, there's no way I just went over it. And then I picked my bike up and it wouldn't go, and then I found that out. But
I see.
Yeah.
But what's changing as far as the qualifying was unbelievable. You were third.
Yeah.
What is changing on the qualifying starts front?
Usually I've never been a good qualifier, ever.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If I was like in the top 15, I knew I was going to have a good day because like that'd be like pretty good. But yeah, to qualify third for me, I was like, dang, like I might be pretty good. So yeah, we've been working on the bike a little bit, getting it a lot better for me, more comfortable. So I feel like that's been helping a lot, and I'm going to try to carry that into this weekend. And you know, it really helped on the first start. I had a good start. So we're going to try to do that again.
But you had the bad gate pick, Moto 2, because of that?
I went all the way outside, and I was like 33rd, I think, in the second turn, and I got 7th. So I know my speed's there, and I know my endurance is there. So
we're going to call it an incomplete grade.
Yes.
But there's potential.
Yeah, there's potential.
I know there's a lot of riders here, but I want to talk, just hold that. Just hold it.
Just hold it.
As long as you don't put your finger over this top part, you're good.
Okay.
So just hang in there, just like that.
All right.
This is Ezra Lusk, everybody. Maybe the most disrespected, great, fast Supercross rider ever. I don't know why. Should be talked about more, but I don't know if you even care. And I feel like for your current job with the AMA, it works because you're not here to prove anything to anybody. I feel like you're just here to do your job.
Well, 100% I'm here to do my job, but I'm here to take care of the riders.
You are, yeah.
The riders.
Yeah, but you don't walk around being like, hey, I'm Ezra Lusk, I did this and I did that. I don't think you care about that.
No, I don't need to give everybody my resume. I don't know, like I like being undercover.
Yeah.
Like I don't really care like if I go around and introduce myself to every single rider.
Yeah.
Because the work that needs to be done is like inside this truck.
Okay.
And it's inside the SMX truck, the MX Sport trucks, like just working behind the scenes trying to figure out how to make it better, and that's what we've done.
Honestly, it's kind of dumb. There haven't been a lot of riders at his level that have done your job. Maybe ever. This is a relatively new thing.
Well, that's the thing, Jason. Like the last 3 or 4 years, we've had a couple people in place.
Yeah.
And they've done a great job. But like when I came into it this year, like I've tried to get better. I've tried to develop relationships, but I've tried not to step on toes, and I've tried not to just go like to the top.
Okay.
I've tried not to like make people upset and want to kick me out.
Okay.
Which is what can happen very quickly in this position.
Okay.
Because it's about as close as being a rider. It's a rider rep, but like a union type job as you can be.
Yeah.
AMA is kind of the union, but like it, I have a good relationship with Mike Mewey, my Mike Politero, like it's everybody. And it's been a good road, and I just want to keep doing it. Now, the next step in the next year or two, like if I get tired of doing it, trying to find somebody that'll replace me.
Oh, yeah, the traveling part is gnarly. I've seen you in a lot of races. Are you cool with it?
I'm good with it now.
Okay.
My kids are 17 and 22. I did this a few years back with Davey, training him, and it was a little tough, but I went to as many as I could. Like the year that Davey was leading the title, I said, I'll go every weekend that you have the #1 plate. When you don't, then I won't come.
Okay.
So we had it all the way through Daytona, or past Daytona.
Yes.
But, that was awesome, and I enjoyed it, but now my kids are grown, so it's like, I told my wife that if I commit to doing every single round next year, then she's going on the road, so.
Yeah.
She said yeah.
Yeah. So. My goal is wait till my kids are that old, and then I'll be doing the exact same thing with my wife. To drill down exactly what you're doing, I talked to you about even like some track design at Supercross to try to make it racier. And it's not huge things, it's not changing entire rhythm sections, but your racing eye, you've been able to even improve passing. And I don't even know if that was originally part of the job, but you're just helping.
Yeah, no, and that was the thing when Jeremy Albrecht had a conversation with me. He's like, Ezra, we don't really have a job description, or you don't now doing this job. It's like you just find your way, you get your wheels turning, and you're here for the riders. So everything involving the riders that you can do to be better, do it. Yeah. And I've tried to do it, but I've tried to do it in the right way to where nobody gets, rubbed the wrong way with me.
Yes.
And want to just say, okay, we've had enough of the little rider representative guy.
On both sides, not just the AMA side, but also the rider side?
The rider side, the MX Sport side.
Yes.
Well, not really the rider side.
The riders have been cool?
Yeah, they're not going to get mad at you.
Okay.
There's still some of them when I walk around the pits that kind of look at me like, AMA guy, like, what is it here for? But,
that's what I mean. Like, you are a referee.
Yes. I'm not really a referee because, like, when I go out and watch practice and races and stuff, like, I'm not trying to catch them cheating.
Yes.
I'm trying to find places where if they do cheat, I can try to fix it before they get caught cheating. They
have to know that, though. They've come around to realize you're not here to be the Gestapo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're coming around to it, but just, some of them, because at the beginning and still now, like I've had to go tell them their penalty and tell them why.
Yeah.
And it's like at the end of the day, like you cut the track, you cut the track.
Right.
There's nothing I can do about it.
Okay.
But we can try to do better at making better course markings and stuff like that so that it's not so easy.
Right.
Because really what ends up happening is, there's a spot that gets knocked down or whatever, and one or two start cutting it and make it worse. Take out the next little marker. And, and then it's a parade. So, we got to do better about that.
But it's little pieces of racetrack that only you've experienced at this level.
Yeah.
That experience comes in handy, I would imagine.
100%, and that's what I was saying with like relationships. Like with Dirtworks guys, with Alex, like I didn't try to jump in there right off the bat and be like, hey, y'all need to change this, change that, because those guys are really good at what they do.
Right.
And then sometimes my little eye can maybe see this or that, and I try to help.
Yeah.
milestone, I guess, if you could put it like this year. I went with Mike down to Tampa to meet with all those guys for the next year's track maps and discuss them, talk about them, talk about a few new rules that are going to change for next year that we didn't really like, how it played out this year in a few of the rounds, and you'll know in the future what I'm talking about. But just like I said, try to get things to where they're better.
I don't feel like there was enough of that going on for a long time, so I'm glad you're around. And Ezra Lusk, and like I said, I don't think you're worried about what people think. Like, you don't have ties to any company, any rider. You just do your thing.
I do my thing.
That goes a long way. It's a perfect guy for the job. Thanks. That's Ezra Lusk. Press day over here is over under the tent. Riders are going to go ride. But I was talking to Ezra. I think this was a Detroit Supercross. I was noticing a couple of races that had really good passing, and I've always been an advocate for when you talk to the riders enough after the races or listen to their interviews and press conferences, the things they talk about are so subtle. When they talk about how a rhythm section changed halfway through the main and this one rut was there and that suddenly made the jump unjumpable or more difficult or less difficult. Very rarely in Supercross, for example, do you hear the riders talk about the track design itself, like the blueprint, making the impact. The bigger impact is always these little subtle things. And I felt like the tracks were coming around with that. And then I talked to Ezra, and I think slowly but surely, his racing eye combined with the other guys that he's talking about, Dirtworks, MX Sports side here in Pro Motocross, just little things that are making a difference. So I applaud it. It's an idea that they probably should have had when Ezra was racing back in the 90s, to have someone with that kind of knowledge, but also it's key to personality. Ezra has never been a big spotlight guy. So I don't think he's here to be cool, to be buddies with someone, to not. You have to always appear that the job is more important than yourself and that you're not here with favorites or industry ties, and he is not that kind of guy. I mean, just Ezra Lusk, that's about it. You know, he hasn't raced or been sponsored by a brand in this thing for probably 15 years now. That goes a long way, at least in the perception part. I know a lot of guys that I work with that have deals, but they're not biased, but it's still perceived that way. So I think that's awesome. Now we're ready for press day. What's up, everybody? Woo! Yeah! Hope this new filming technique is working. Yeah, what's up, everybody? Wow, it's only just past noon and they're already having a good time out here. Here we go.
Alrighty, folks, we're going live with a little bit of press day action out here right now.
So where are we in the series right now? Well, last week I said that Chance Hymas might be the trivia question answer to who is the one guy that won besides Hayden Deegan and Jett Lawrence, but I was wrong because now we have Joe Shimoda in the winner's circle. But the untold story I feel last week was Levi Kitchen, who I believe had the speed to win that race. That's what's going to be interesting to watch. You know Deegan's going to come out like a house of fire to try to extinguish that. That's how he operates under any circumstance, especially this one. Now Deegan went a little crazy on the TikTok this week. So people said. I do have a TikTok account. I watched it. First of all, I'm not going to claim I know enough about 19-year-old TikTok culture to really be a judge of what's crazy and what's maybe just the way people normally speak and communicate on there, A. B, I don't feel like it was actually that wild. Like, it wasn't really that wild. It wasn't foul language. There were a couple of kind of wild comments, but I don't even know if I'd call them, like, rude comments. I long ago made the decision to never be the old guy, even though the hair gets a little more gray over here, to never be the guy who says, these kids these days. Because we end up with this weird hypocritical thing where we end up saying that today's 19-year-old is a punk, and then we also celebrate the gnarliness of the former 19-year-olds. For example, the best possible example I can give you is that nobody trash talked, nobody rattled cages, no one was more aggressive on the track, no one was more gnarly as a young, let's say 20-year-old, 19-year-old than Bob Hurricane Hanna, and all of that stuff is celebrated now. So it would be ridiculous to say I like it old school, even though what the kids are doing now is just another version of the exact same school. So I got no problem with it. And that's kind of the cool thing about Deegan, though. And America. Some people aren't going to like it, and that's your prerogative also. Some people are going to love it. Obviously, they build a big fan base. So I just like the idea that we don't know what we're going to get. Every single time he does something, you're like, oh, hold on, he might do something crazy right now. And that's probably something we don't have enough of. But that's why people talk about Bob Hanna still to this day. You never knew what he was going to say in an interview or to his competitors or about his competitors, and that's what made it good. Is it really that different, even though it's 50 years apart? I don't even know if Hayden Deegan knows who Bob Hanna is. Choking on some dust. Wait, we interrupt the scheduled broadcast. I just actually ran into Brian Deegan after I shot this show, so this is like a time-space continuum break. Just ran into Brian. He gave me the latest on Hayden's condition with the leg. As we suspected on the TV show, he did accidentally hit neutral on that roller last week at Redbud, and that made him go over the bars, and as we suspected, bar went into his leg. What he's describing is like a kind of a grade 2, like 1 level worse than a hematoma. It's nothing crazy. He's not going to make it worse by riding. But it is like a muscle, like a cut of the fascia of the thigh muscle. So it does hurt, and not just hurt with an impact, but it does hurt even to do normal athletic sitting, standing things like you have to do on a motocross bike. So they didn't use the Toradol shot for the first moto last week because they didn't think it was that bad at first. He was struggling in that first moto. We saw the result. That was not good. And he crashed twice and happened to hit the leg 2 times. That's how these things normally go, right? Toradol shot in Moto 2. Rode a lot better. Got second. But this week has been a week of physical therapy. Brian's not, as most of us, we know as motocross injuries go, things get way gnarlier than that. He doesn't think it's going to make a huge difference, but it's still going to hurt. And he'll just have to see what he can put up with to win the title. Because, man, we saw how quickly a guy that is that dominant can lose a whole bunch of points in a single weekend and to get a race here and Washougal. And that's the medical update. We'll see how he does. Here's something I thought was cool. Bonus coverage right now. If you look up in the tower, that's Brandon Haas up there, right there. Now, Brandon Haas owns and operates the Club MX team, but he's originally a Minnesota native. He always brings a bike up here and races on amateur day, and then he's using the knowledge that he gained from amateur day. He's got the headset, radioing down to his team about lines and conditions, even on press day. I just love the sweat and all the details, and the fact that, you know, a team owner, he's trying to win Loretta's another title there. Just cool that they're that into it. And also, Milt Reimer, the guy who owns the FXR gear brand, just did a podcast with him. They're celebrating 30 years. Milt was out here. He just won the 45A class. It doesn't get talked about enough in motocross, the direct connection between what happens here, pro press day, pro racing, the same track, all those things. It's pretty awesome that they're still intact, because I think too often we try to think of ways to improve this sport, and I say the collective we, which is everyone that loves it, whether you're working in it or you're a fan of it. And a lot of the perspective that we try to get is you look at, well, what does F1 do, or what does the NFL do, or the NBA? You just try to look at like the really big successful sports and then say, well, we need to copy that. There is a huge difference between what happens here and in any of those things, and that is that direct connection between the enthusiast, the customer, which those sports are not reliant on. The NFL is not reliant on people buying footballs to fund their sport. It doesn't work that way. Formula One, yes, it's car racing. Yes, they have factory teams, so to speak, but that is a completely different level of branding. No one's watching F1 race and saying, that Mercedes looks a little twitchy. Maybe I'm going to buy an Aston Martin instead, or a Red Bull. Could you even do that? You can. This sport has this connection between these dudes on the track. How awesome is it that you gotta hold my mic?
Oh, gotta be.
Okay, so the big dogs are out there right now,
yeah,
and then you're about to go do a moto.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. Just talk about that experience.
It's kind of cool watching them go by, but we're hoping that they're done with theirs before it starts raining.
So it starts raining. Yes.
I want to have this back in the trailer before the rain starts.
So screw the pro guys. You need to get your moto in.
Yeah, crank it up, guys. They get a whole day tomorrow. Like,
yeah, that's true. They get 30 plus 2. That's cool. That's what I'm talking about. These guys get to ride the same track as Jeremy Martin does. This might be the only track Jeremy Martin rides in the future, since he's going to own the place and operate it. What's up? Are you embarrassing people? You can embarrass people right now.
These are influencers.
Right here.
Oh, we have influencers.
We have influencers.
Hey, the show might grow with these influencers.
Come on, kid.
Oh, look at this. We're doing like show against show.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I really got to give it up. I can't thank my team.
What's your name?
My name is Jason. Also, what's your name?
Kaylee.
Okay, we're doing the exact same show.
Kaylee, what class are you in?
You're racing, Kaylee?
Yeah.
How's it going so far today?
It's going okay. I got 3rd place so far.
Where do you sit in the state?
I'm 1st in state for girls and senior.
Okay, you're leading the points.
Yeah.
Who's this guy over here?
My dad.
That's what I thought. Proud dad. Yes, please.
My dad is Scott Gendro.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. Okay, I hope I make the vlog.
That's good seeing you, buddy.
You just interviewed Deegs?
Yeah.
Wait, can I say another thing?
Yeah, you can talk more.
My dad was a former pro.
Okay, there we go. The connection. Who'd you interview? Hudson
Deegan.
Hudson.
Yeah, Hudson.
So you truly are an influencer. Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right, good luck in the title chase. Let's go. You see what I'm talking about? A lot of what Ezra Lusk is doing is very subtle, and we need subtle improvements, but you can't shake things up too much because we take for granted this bond between the showroom, the people that buy gear, bikes, oil, parts, all that. And is it stupid that yes, people actually watch a Supercross, a track that most people will never even ride on, and try to make judgments about the motorcycles there? Is that stupid? Probably is, but it's what makes the world go around. It's why Supercross is important enough for most of these teams to have continued to support, with a lot of money, a factory race team for a long time. You look at F1, for example, they come, they go, for 8 years, they spend a bazillion, and then suddenly they disappear, and that's F1. It gets much worse at other levels. Sports car racing, rally car racing, it's in, it's out. They cannot rely on the factory teams showing up ever. And then that leads you down the pathway of relying on paid drivers. You got to get a sponsor to pay your way onto a team. They're so far down that road in most other forms of motorsports. And NASCAR's headed that way too. It's not full on, but it is, I don't know, if I could put a number on it, 30, 40, maybe 50% of what you're seeing there is now drivers that can bring money and sponsorship to a team. Here in Moto, because the rider still makes a bigger difference in the bike, not the only difference, but the bigger difference, you still have to pay for talent. You cannot replace the talent, no matter how much money or sponsorship a rider brings to the team, A. And B, you still have to prove this performance connection. If you're going out there and struggling on Saturday, you don't sell on Monday. And as long as everyone still subscribes to that and believes that, this thing will keep on going. If you try to get too crazy to upset that apple cart, to grow even bigger than that, you could be in trouble. So it's subtle, small changes to make things better, but not changing the entire thing, I think, is the key here. Because this combination of fans doing their motos right after the pros do their motos, that's what makes this thing work.